Welcome back. Today's video is on how to detach, how to actually let go. Well, if you want to let go, I recommend that you let go. And if you want to detach, I recommend that you just detach. That's the best thing to do. Detach. Let go. Yeah, we hear it all the time. We hear that we got to let go of things. We hear we got to detach from things and ideas and events and people and environments. But how do we do that? How do we go about detachment? Is there a specific way? Is there like a method, a secret, an idea that allows us to detach easily? And what is attachment in the first place? Like, seriously, what is it? And why is it so bad? Or why is it conveyed in a negative sense in the spiritual theosophical world? Attachment. And how is attachment different from commitment? And a commitment is an attachment that you've created for yourself to create what? To create who you are or who you want to be or another identity that is not necessarily the true essence of your being, which is God. How can we detach from things? How can we let go of things? Well, first you have to ask the question. And the question is, how can I let go of this thing? And the answer comes, and it comes quickly. The answer is you just simply decide. Detachment is a decision. Attachment is a decision. It's a choice. It's funny to me that karma, action, choice, detachment, and attachment are all the same thing. They're all decisions. And each decision that you make, is going to have a different result based on the decision. So how do I detach? I make a decision to detach. And then I get into a mind space. It's so complex, isn't it? It's so complex. And yet it's so simple. To empty the cup, to empty the mind, to pour out what is inside of you. It's so complex because there's so much in there. And yet it's so simple because the only thing that you have to do is think about nothing. But you say, what? I have so many things on my mind, so many things to think about, so many things that I have to do today, and so many obligations and so many attachments. And then it's like, well, what's the point of detaching from this one thing if I'm still attached to all these other things? And what's the point of replacing a vice with a virtue? Because all you're doing is just detaching from one thing and attaching to another thing. And isn't the point of spiritual awakening to detach from everything? To take your power back fully? Maybe it's not about detaching or attaching or committing or not committing or deciding. Maybe it's just about being who you are, realizing your true nature and sticking to it. What does that mean? That means doing what you love to do. That means seeing something that you really like and going and doing it. That means feeling inspired to take action and then taking that inspired action. It means being graceful. It means having grace. And how can you have grace? How can you be who you are? And this isn't about wealth creation. This isn't about stuff or things or accumulation. This isn't about any of that. This isn't even about happiness. This isn't even about happiness. What this is about is realization. This is about empowerment. This is about becoming who you truly are. Okay? We're born into this environment, and in this environment, we're told that we are things. We're told by our mothers and our fathers and our friends and our siblings and our aunts and our uncles and our grandpas and our teachers. We're told who we are. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And throughout all of that time where we're being told who we are as a child, we're like super moldable. We're sponges. We soak it up and we accept it just as it is because we trust. We have so much trust. We believe in everything. Like a kid doesn't need magic because to him the world is magic. Ye of little faith need miracles. Well, children don't need miracles. They see the world as a miracle. And they accept it as a miracle. What are we detaching from? Is there something that we're detaching from? The law of one, unity, oneness. There's nihilism, there's dualism, and there's oneism. Singularity. Singularity. So if it's all one, and I'm already one with everything in my environment, I'm already one with everyone in my environment, then what is there to detach from? What is there to detach myself to? I'm already one with it. I'm already one with the thing. Why then is detachment a thing? Why then is attachment a thing? Why then are others able to tell us things that we then believe and then become? Are they reflections of us when we're children? When we're pure of heart and trusting of the universe? Is the world our reflection then? And if not, at what point does it become our reflection? As we grow up, we grow old. As we grow old, we grow new. As we grow new, we die. And then we repeat the cycle. Or do we? We can read as much books as we want. I can read as many books as I want. I could read the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Bible. And they all have words of wisdom. But they are doorways. They are all doorways. I can love another person and pour my heart into them. And they could give me a feeling of love, or the Quran or the Bible or the Gita could give me a feeling of love, or the Guru could give me a feeling of love. But all doorways lead to the same thing. And why? And I think this is what detachment is, and attachment. The point is to discover the love within yourself. That's why we read the Bible. That's why we read the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita. That's why we go see the Guru. That's why we meditate. That's why we have methods that lead to love, that lead to oneness and unity. They're like doors that we walk through, and that we come into this room, and in this room we're so filled with love. And when we go into a relationship, we love that person, and they're like a doorway. And when we see them, or when we're with them, or when we give to them, or when we're having an experience with them, we feel that love. We enter into that room. But it is an illusion. That is just a door. Don't get so fixated on the door that you forget about the room. It's not about the Bible or the Quran or the Gita or the Guru or the person that you love that is making you feel love. You know? It's like you walk through the door and then you turn around and you say, well, it's the door, it's the door, it's the door. No, it's not the door. The door was a method. And now you're in the room. So you don't need the door. And that's what detachment is. Detachment is saying, okay, I have this method and it got me to love, but love was here the whole time. And the door was the illusion. The illusion was that I was separate from myself. The illusion that I was separate from love It was the illusion that I needed this method to get to love. But in reality, the door stands in the room. And you walking through it is just confirmation of you being in the room, which you were always in. And you always will be in the room. So don't get so fixated on the doorway. And I think that's what detachment is. That's what attachment is. When you're fixated on the method that got you to where you are. You're fixated on the habits and the things that got you to where you are. Because the past, the memory that you have, it doesn't exist. And so who you are right now is a realized, complete being. Already all-knowing, already all-seeing, already one with the Godhead. And this is what it means to be a perfect being. You are a perfect being in a perfect world, in a perfect universe. And you are expanding. You're perfect and you're expanding into more perfection, into more of an extension of who you are. And this is what it means to be on the leading edge of creation. This is what it means to be on earth, an earthling. All humans are royalty. All beings in the third dimension have been granted this by the grace of God, by the grace of the oneness. This physicality we've fallen into is a blessing. And in order to fall into this three-dimensional universe, we must have been royalty. We must be royalty. We are it. This is the experience that we're having. Everything about this experience is beloved and sacred and amazing. Every single thing, every single object. The fact that I can touch this table, but every molecule and atom in this table are constantly moving. Everything is moving, changing. And in the change, we're dancing in this dance of life, which we're living. And so, to dance, you must not be caught up with a single partner or a single move or a single idea. To be free, we must freely express ourselves and move in different ways and constantly be adding and multiplying the newness that we are. And how can we do that if we're stuck on the old ways? If we're still thinking about the door? How can we be in the room and experience the room as it is and all the wondrous natures of the room if we're so focused on the doorway? The Guru, the church, the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita. All of it leads to the same thing. All of it leads to the same thing. And so how do you let go of the doorway? Well, one thing that you can do is you could recognize that that's a doorway. And that you are the one who is feeling the way that you're feeling. You are the one who created the feelings within you. You can take your power back. And I don't mean in a way of like, give it back to me. I mean in a way of empowering yourself. Because you were always it. You've always been it. It has always been you. The whole entire time, it's been you. You're the one who puts yourself here in your equation. You're the one who puts yourself in your situation. And every moment is new. So in every moment, we have this option to be aware and conscious and make new choices and decisions. And we can either make them in a spirit of love and unity and inspired action, or we can make them in a feeling of fear and regret and sadness and attachment and all these things. And whatever you choose to do, you can have, because Because we are so free, we can choose bondage. We are so free that we can choose to be enslaved. We are so free that we can choose to be in a negative situation. And how do we choose? How is the choice made? Well, the choice is made through the awareness. It's not made necessarily through action, but through awareness and intention. Awareness, what is that? Awareness is like a light bulb, a floating light bulb in your mind, and your mind is a library. And this floating light bulb, it's a central point. It's a one focused point. They call it dharana in Buddhism, dharana, or Hinduism, one of the two. But it's this focused point. And your library, the mind is full of not only your subconscious mind, which is everything that you've experienced, but epigenetically, it's full of everything that every human has ever experienced. And so your awareness is where you put that light bulb in that library. And that is the intentional choice that you have, that you can make in any moment. Where do I want to put my awareness? And if your awareness is in a place that is not serving you, then you can simply choose to put your awareness on something else. Now, in your mind and in your awareness, there are grooves, there are roads avenues that you've gone down multiple times. And each time you take an avenue, each time you go down a road, that groove gets bigger, deeper. And so going down that groove is easier every time you do it. So habits that you've been performing, or that your physical body in the three-dimensional universe has been performing for years, has some pretty deep grooves. And so in order to put your awareness on something else, you have to start to create a new groove. The Emperor's New Groove. And in creating the new groove, you must choose it over and over again until that groove gets deep enough that it is an easy groove to go down. And then you start to change the three-dimensional world. Okay? Now, you can do this through higher faculties, through a Kundalini awakening, through the access of the DMT in your pineal gland. You can access those things. And you can do that simply by breathing. And there's breathing techniques that make that easy. There's breathing techniques that may be difficult, but they make the ascension process easy. Ascension into the higher realms, fourth dimensional and fifth dimensional thought. Fifth dimensional is 5D, heaven on earth. And how do you get to heaven on earth? Well, it starts by going up into the fourth. And in the fourth dimension, momentum carries you wherever your thoughts are trailing. Okay? And so, as your thoughts, because every time you think a thought, what happens is, fourth dimensionally, your mind creates a new thought just like it, because that's the law of attraction. Like that which is likened to itself is drawn. So when you express an intentional thought into your existence, there are more thoughts that come that are like it. So if you think one negative thought, then more negative thoughts will come. And if you think one positive thought, then more positive thoughts will come. And to stop thought, there's also techniques to stop your thought. And those techniques include meditating and sleeping. That slows down thought completely to a stop. And so from that stopping point, like when you get out of a meditation, it's important to start to intentionally think about the things that you want, because out of a meditation, you're in 4D. The whirlwind of momentum will carry you either into the 5-dimensional universe or back into the 3D. Okay? And we want to be in heaven. We want to be in heaven as we experience earth, heaven on earth. There are techniques for it. There are thoughts to think. There are ways to do it. You can use a vision board. And as soon as you meditate, as soon as you're done, you look at the vision board. You can use mantras and affirmations. You can create a mind movie. You can do so many things to start to ignite the positive thinking thoughts that create the momentum that pulls you up into the fifth dimension. And it all comes from you. It all comes from within. Activation of the Kundalini is all about empowering yourself. And what I talked about earlier was the doorway. And so Kundalini activation is all about dismissing the doorway. After you get through it, dismiss it. Because now you are who you are. And you've always been this person. You've always had this power without the need of the outside world. Now the outside world can help. And this is how we serve and help others, by showing our love, by showing our open hearts, by shining our lights. And the guru may have shined his light. Jesus did shine his light, and he set an example that shows us what love is, that what we are, all of us are. And so that is a doorway. And once you get past the doorway, you enter into the realm of love. And in the realm of love, you are the all-encompassing, all-seeing, all-pervasive being, the I am presence. I am presence. And when you say those two words, I am, those are the most powerful words in the universe. So use them wisely. And recognize when you're saying, I am not. Okay? Very, very powerful stuff. There is so much wisdom in silence. There is so much wisdom in non-action. Doing, not doing. To the point where you are flowing through your life and you are just an observer who is watching, who is not feeling the body as a physicality, but feeling the body as an energy, moving and floating gracefully through this earth. It's all accessible, and it's accessible right now. Yeah, you might have to go through the trials and tribulations because of what you've put yourself through. But the reason why I do that is because I want my generations ahead of me to not have to do any of that. I am doing the work so that they don't have to. I'm dealing with my trauma. I'm doing my shadow work. I'm relieving my body of the trauma, and I'm accessing my parasympathetic nervous system so that I can reset the body and attune the body to my new mind. So that epigenetically, my children will not have the traumas that I have been instilled with. This is legacy. This is who you are and who your children will become. You are your children. You are one with all of it. So why not spread love in every direction that you can? But not by spreading it out, but by becoming it, by pulling it in and then radiating it like a magnet. You are so powerful. You have every single clairvoyant talent. You have access to all of it. And that's what the Kundalini is all about. It's about saying, you know what? I'm taking my power back completely. You might be a zodiac sign. You might have certain numbers and certain charts and certain aspects. But Kundalini awakening is all about saying, no, I'm taking my full power back. I'm becoming fully ingrained and integrated. Okay? And those aspects may be parts of you that you have to release. But you, fuck.